Getting used to the jealousy and envy. Quit acting like a hoe. Man, you already know what it is. Jay Williams, let's live life, and we're back. Man, do I got a crazy story for y'all today. So I was talking to Twin the other day, Jake McQueeno, great friend of mine. If you watch the channel, you know who Jake McQueeno is. And we got into a topic and something that had taken place back in the day at Greensville. And I said, you know what? I've debated for a very long time on even telling this story. Because it's it's crazy to say the least. It's disturbing. It's wild. Like it's insane. First of all, for it to be 100% true, but secondly, to repeat. And that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to get into it and I'm going to share it. And what it has to do with is the dog program. Now, at one point at Greensville, they implicated this thing called the dog program, where certain offenders, certain inmates, could work beside dogs, canines. And these dogs would be companion animals. They would go on to help blind people. They would serve all type of purposes. So they took certain inmates, boom, put them in one building, kicked their cellmate out the cell, and they give them this dog. Now, for the next set amount of months, you and this dog are going to bond. You're going to teach this dog. You're going to train this dog. And then they're going to come collect the dog from you at some point, take it out into the world. And it's meant to not only, A, you get free trainers for the dogs, B, it's a form of rehabilitation for some of these inmates. There was a lot of good things that were supposed to come from this program that failed miserably. Who in their right mind is going to give these dudes dogs? You're talking men that have done some crazy things in their life. Some of these men are never, ever going home. They couldn't make decisions in their life that allowed them to last out in the world. And now you're letting them pretty much become the brain of a dog? I thought it was a bad idea from the beginning. When I heard it, I said, it could be a good thing, but not here. This place is packed full of lunatics. There's a dude over there brushing his ear with a toothbrush that is raw. And I've watched him do it for 2 weeks straight. Walk in circles, brushing his ear with a toothbrush. He's a nutcase. And the penitentiary is packed full of dudes just like him that should be in psych wards. So let's give them dogs. And then lock them in the cell with that dog at night. It's all bad. Before we get into that, I need to, and I got to, and I'm going to get into all the going on with the internet. So I'm going to get into everything going on with the internet, and then we're going to get into how you know it always ends bad. And with this situation, I really hope dude got everything that he had coming to him. But with all that being said, you know how to seen it. You know how to lived it. So let's relive it. Before we even get started, thank you to everybody that showed up to the podcast the other night. And to the Lewinsky's that have already started making their little videos that are eating me up from the feet up. That are, you know what you're doing. You got me all in your mouth deep. Just the sack hanging out. Like, how does that taste? You really sat there and made an entire video about me? Like, that is your content? The most interesting thing for you to talk about is me. And you do it again and again and again. And I guarantee the check you see from it probably couldn't pay my phone bills. It's comical. I feel bad for dudes, man. It's sad that your claim to fame is literally just gonna be you off the entire video. Thank you. Like it's free advertisement. Hey, you are awesome. Thank you, Mr. Monica Lewinsky. And there's a bunch of you guys, and you all know who you are. There's even some that hide behind fake profiles, and I know exactly who you are. To the time, I know exactly who you are. You exposed yourself a long time ago, dummy. Your way of trying to get at me is by making a fake account. Comical. Hardy horror. Ha ha. Wait for it. Next on my agenda, with the podcast the other night, we got into a big controversial topic where I broke down things going on with T.I. and Boosie. I'm a fan of both of their music. And I chose to touch on that subject because these are words that came out of that man's mouth. In no way, shape, or form was that video meant to bash either one of the artists. I'm a fan of both of their music. Still listening to T.I. to this day. Was bumping his music this morning. But everybody's asking me, you spoke briefly on the 1090 situation. You didn't really get into it. Well, here's a reason for that. Number one, I don't have any beef with these dudes, right? So never would I come at anyone maliciously. I would only speak on what's public knowledge. Number two, as far as that whole situation goes, it seems like dudes are reaching and digging for everything they can to throw dirt on somebody's name these days. Now, I'm going to tell you this again because you need to listen. For the guys that didn't grow up when snitching was really taken serious, now you got to remember I'm an 80s baby, born February 5th, 1980. I grew up in an era where snitches really got, where they were found in bandos, they were found in ditches, they were found in the woods. People really acted on these type of dudes and did things to them. Days are gone. I'm going to tell you again my definition of snitching. It is yelling on somebody with something to gain, whether it be getting paid from crime solvers or one of those agencies, whether it be making your little petty case you caught go away, whether it be helping get a homeboy out of jail. You telling on something with something to gain, to me, that is the definition of snitching. I do not think that you doing your due diligence as a human being makes you a snitch. I went to prison for robbery. The man that was robbed got on the stand and testified against me. He did not snitch on me. He was a civilian. He has the right to do what he did. He told them what I did. And I harbor no hard feelings for him. And never in a million years would I consider him a snitch. He did what he was supposed to do. I robbed that man. Yes, he did what he was supposed to do. He took action. And he got me up off the streets. And it made me a better person. And to him, I thank you for your part in helping change who I am. But everybody went in on the dude I had on, Azruction. Now, I want you to hear me when I say this. Hear me loud and clear. I put a lot of thought into everything that I do. A lot of thought went into who I was going to have on with me. AZ is honest, and he is brutally honest to a fault at times. And when we were talking the other night on the whole child being snatched up, he spoke on the situation as a whole and what is acceptable. Not what he is 100% going to do. I know this dude. This dude has advocated for children. This dude has advocated for other people and went full-fledged against people that had crimes against kids. He is a good man. He's not going to sit on the couch and drink a Miller Lite and watch somebody snatch somebody's kid up. No, chances are he's going to go out there, jump in the van, and beat that man within an inch of his life. So to anybody that thinks he's a POS or he's this or he's that, he spoke on what is and what isn't acceptable. These are not rules he made. These are the facts. And people are not used to the truth. They're not used to people being honest. The point in the whole answer he gave is that when you get to prison, they do not care who you told on. They don't care if you saved a school bus full of children. These inmates, this stupid law of snitching that's in place. They don't care who you told on, why you told. They don't care if you helped bring Jesus down off the cross. The mindset is You told on somebody. But I saved a child. We don't care. You told on somebody. So the point in the other night's podcast, I had a mission at hand, right? I wanted to shed light on all the holes, all the how it's a double-edged sword when it comes to this topic. I wanted to spark the mind. I wanted to make people think. And that's exactly what happened. And me and him talked last night. He said, Jay, I would never in a million years sit by and watch somebody hurt a child or allow it. I'm going to do everything in my power, no matter what it takes. I'm going to do that. But in doing that, the moment you ever get locked up and you hit a place like Arizona's prison systems and they go through your paperwork and your name pops up on somebody else's case, it don't matter. And here's the crazy part. He can be the biggest POS in the world. He can have the most heinous, worst charges there is against women, children, whatever. And just because your name is on his paperwork, you saved the day in the streets. But in prison, you are now labeled a rat. It's stupid, people. Wake up. To you young boys that live by this code that has been twisted and molded to fit the agenda. It's not what y'all think it is. You go your whole entire life being solid, and you become the victim of a crime. And if you tell on somebody that did something to you or somebody you love, all that street cred goes right out the window. Any situation you could put into play, I can pick apart. So back to the 1090 part. Why didn't I go in on 1090? A, the man's never done anything to me. And B, as far as I can tell, the man ain't told on nobody. That man has not done anything to get himself out of trouble. That man at no point in time did anything or was compensated for ever telling on anybody. Before you go calling somebody a rat or a snitch, really understand the definition of snitching. Really understand the definition of being a rat. Doing something with something to gain. That's the true definition. When the mob guys rolled on everybody back in the day, why did they do it? Because they didn't want to face a life sentence. They weren't trying to sit down in that chair. Old Sparky. They weren't trying to deal with none of that. They wasn't trying to shoot, get choked up. No. So they rolled on people. The average street guy that gets jammed up. And he's sitting in that interrogation room and he starts talking. Why is he talking? Because he's usually got a whole list of charges. We need to get back to the basics. We've gotten so off track with what is and what isn't that y'all don't know what is and what isn't. Everything these days is snitching. If you see somebody commit a crime and you call the police, you're a snitch. No, you're a human being. So for anybody that think Azruction is out of pocket or was wrong, he was speaking on the politics. These aren't rules he made. This ain't a law he made. He's telling you the honest truth. If you get out here and you get in trouble, and this is real life, you get in trouble and you go away to prison because you saved that child, which is absolutely 1,000% what I'm going to do. I'm going to call them people and tell them, I just saw you take that kid. And I'm going to do everything I can to help getting back. But in Arizona's prisons and a lot of the West Coast prisons, the moment you hit the main line, because your name is on his paperwork and you called the police on him, you are labeled a rat. Do you see the stupidity in that? So don't be mad at AZ. He didn't make the rules. I didn't make the rules. Here's the way the prison game goes. When you get locked up, if you get locked up and you go away, I don't care where you're at, you're going to fall in line and you're going to politic according to how they politic. You're going to run the way the East Coast runs if you're out here. And if you're an East Coast dude that gets locked up out West, you're going to fall up underneath the West's politics and you will politic or you won't make it long. Like I said, we don't make the rules. And nobody said that the rules are fair. And I don't think that 99.9% of the rules even make sense. And that's exactly why I unsubscribed from the streets and I want nothing to do with it anymore. I'll talk on it, but I ain't out there living that life. I can talk on it because I did live that life. I spent many nights underneath the street light. Many nights walking till daylight. Many nights doing hand-to-hands, walking up to car windows, complete strangers I'd never met in my life. A large portion of my life was given to a stupid cause. It was given to this gangster persona, this street image that was stupid. It robbed my son of a father. It robbed me of over half of my life. I would be 34 years old when I stepped out of prison. And I stepped out a new man. If you're in that life, get out. Get out. Stop now. Don't wait until them red and blue lights flick behind you and be like, oh man, I messed up. And in the moment they put them handcuffs on you, I want you to think about me. I want you to think back, and I want this to echo in your head. Get out. Get out. Get out. Stop. Stop. Stop caring what everybody thinks about you. Stop. I would rather be the guy at 7-Eleven, ringing your gas up, giving you your backwoods, bringing up whatever it is you bring to the counter, than be the guy that's scooping mashed potatoes on a tray in the chow hall, than be the guy that's mopping a hallway, than being the guy that's in a box having dirt thrown on him. I'll take 7-Eleven all day. But like I said, when it comes to AZ, he's good people. And if you come to my channel with that riffraff, if you come to my channel with that tomfoolery, if you come over here running your mouth, I will get you gone. It's my platform. And we will be respectful around here, understood? All right then. With all that being said, that was a very long opening. Let's get in to today's story. Now, it should go without saying that when it came to picking the inmates that actually could have a dog, they tried to pick the best people possible. They had a set of rules. The rules were despicable. You had to be charge-free for like a year, meaning you haven't broken any DOC laws, you haven't gotten any prison infractions, haven't been in any fights, disobeyed a direct order, got caught stealing, nothing stupid, a prison law. If you haven't broken on those in a year, you're eligible. You can't have any funny money charges. You can't be a fiddler. You can't like to... No, you don't do that. If you have, And no cruelty to animal charges. Those are the 3 stipulations when it comes to if you're eligible to get a dog. Did you notice when I just said that? Nowhere in there did it say anything about doing something bad to a woman or doing something bad to another man or violence in general. That was not part of the rules. It was just couldn't have any prison infractions, no animal cruelty, no funny money with kids. Those are 3 rules. If you're good on all 3 of those, you're eligible to get a dog. There was a lot of different stories on things that transpired with these dogs. Y'all know it ends bad, so of course it ended bad time and time again. This first story is not the story I'm going to tell today, but I'm going to tell it anyway. We're going to do a 2-for-1 after that long opening, and I appreciate y'all watching all that and hearing how I feel. Big salute. But we had a dude up there, and it was crazy that they even gave this guy a dog, because what he was known for was hustling. He would hit that VI room, come back on Saturday, and he didn't just have runners. A runner is somebody that moves your product for you, that runs around on the yard, that sells it, collects it, enforces it. He didn't just have runners. He was greedy. He wanted to be the man. I've told you, you cannot be the man. So everybody knows what this dude does. He sells death. He sells Bobby Brown. He sells train. That's his thing. He gets a dog. They would let these guys at a certain time of day, each day, several times a day. They would call, outside for the dog. Take the dog outside. They had a certain thing they would say, and you would get your dog, and all the guys would gather up. They put the dog on the leashes, and they'd single file out the door, and they had this area where they would take the dogs out to use the bathroom. And then there was an inmate that actually had a job that was cleaning up behind the dogs. It was a 27 cents an hour. Hey, welcome to America. The guards get wind of what this guy is doing. They pull him out of his cell. They question him. They drill him. Hey, we know you're selling this. Hey, they're saying you're getting this through the visiting room. But they can't catch him. He denies everything. Now, at this point, you had dudes ODing on a constant basis. It's pretty much every day of the week you would hear Out of these 3,000 inmates, somebody's going to fall out and flop because a lot of bad stuff was going around. Guys fall out, flop. It's a no-brainer that you're going to get caught. You're going to fail the urinalysis. And a lot of these guys were telling, I'm getting it from him. Nah, he's a good guy. He's got a dog. Having a dog don't make you a good guy. It means y'all messed up and gave the wrong guy a dog. They would shake this dude's cell down time and time again. Guys would tell him, he just got it. He got it. Go, shake, look, save the people, right? They couldn't find him with anything. There they are, shaking down the cell, and he's standing outside the cell with the dog on the leash. They've done searched him. They've even searched the dog. Ran their fingers through the dog's hair, checked inside his ears, opened his mouth. They can't find it. They'd run up in there in the middle of the night. They can't find it. This would take place for about 30 days. And eventually, so many dudes had fallen out up there. They know it's him that's pushing this product that's got people falling out. We don't care if we can catch him or not. If we can't catch him, eliminate him and get him up off of here. So that's what they would do. They would come in there, they would lock him up, and they take him in the hole under investigation. But this investigation ain't going to end well. Even if we don't catch you with anything, you are getting shipped up off of here. And we're going to ship you so far away that whoever comes to see you most likely ain't going to drive 8 hours every weekend to come visit you. So you'll be lucky if you get a visit once a month. Nobody driving 8 hours there for an hour-long visit and then 8 hours home every single weekend. So they knew that in shipping the guy, even though they couldn't prove what he was doing, it was part of the solution. Now their thing is, if we can't stop you, we'll stop you from doing it here. You'll go do it over there. We'll send you somewhere that's more strict, that's got more cameras, that's got more security, and make it harder for you to do. Well, they locked the guy up. They then take his dog. They had a section at the prison where they put these cages, because if something happens with an inmate and he goes to the hole, they got to store this dog somewhere. The guard's not taking the dog home. You can't just let the dog run free. So they would take the dog back to the kennels and put the dog in the kennels until they found a new inmate to handle the dog. Dude who works over the kennels, he has a job. He cleans up the kennels, comes back, he says, man, this is crazy. What's crazy? Y'all not going to believe me. What's crazy? Man, they called me over there to clean up the kennels, and they told me no need. Come back a little bit later. Okay, so what's that mean? I got over there, they had investigators, they had state police, they had a whole bunch of people over there. What's going on? I'm like, style, you just, okay, we get it. What happened? Man, the dog pooped out 3 balloons. Come again? Come again? Dog pooped out 3 balloons. What dog? Dog they took from old boy that he locked up in the investigation. What this dude had been doing is he had been taking anything he wasn't selling it, even if he was selling, he kept it tied up. He would pass it off to others at times and have them get rid of it. But the greed got him. He would keep it in the cell, and he would keep it in some type of a food item, whether it be in a piece of a honey bun, whether it be wrapped up in some bread. And at the moment he was alerted to the guards, you can hear the guards coming. The keys give them away. The static from the walkie-talkie. Their boots make a different noise than our boots make. When that front door opens and they come in, you hear it. Dude was on point. And the moment they would come to that door, he would feed the dog. And the dog, not knowing as being a dog, gobbles down whatever he hands it. And in the middle, wrapped up like a Tootsie Roll, is the pack. But the problem at hand is, when he went to the hole and they had possession of the dog, and the dog went poo, and out came the pack. So he would feed it to the dog, and the guards would tear the cell apart. They would search high and low, and the whole time what they're looking for is floating inside the dog's stomach. Not long after that, dog's going to do what a dog does. He's going to do what everybody does. He's going to go poo. And after he would go poo, old boy would pick it up, bag it up, clean it off, and repeat the process if need be. So he went from being blessed, he went on to catch himself some street charges. The next story is the story you are here for. As I told you, I was talking to Jacob, and we talked about some other stories, some that really, really disturbed me, about some different events that took place, things I seen, things I heard, things I lived through that went on around me that bother me to this day. They keep me awake at night. I've had nightmares. I hear it in my dreams. Some of this stuff traumatized me. You need to understand this is a fact. Sometimes I will tell y'all a story, and then that night I will dream it. And rather than be the person that's on the sideline witnessing it or hearing it, In my dreams, I'm the victim. Those are nightmares. It'll make you wake up with cold sweat and the sheets soaked. It'll make me wake up and reach over to see if my wife or my son is there. Like, my God, I'm home. I'm really free. This next story was, I don't know if anybody's ever even done a story like this. I don't know if anybody's ever even heard of a story like this while being incarcerated. So I've said this in the past. What you're currently locked up for is just what you got caught for. Doesn't mean you haven't done other things in the streets that they don't know about. It doesn't mean you're not capable of much worse. It just means that's what you got caught for. In case you're wondering, cut my finger wide open at work today with man status. Throw some tape on that and keep it moving. I don't know the dude in the story I'm about to talk about. I know of him. Everybody knows of him. Everybody that was up there at that time knows exactly what I'm talking about. And this would be part of the reason that Greensville lost its dog program. If you look it up now and you look up Canine Program in Virginia, these are the 3 places you're going to see. See those? Those are the 3 facilities that I believe still currently have the Canine Program in play. Greensville would have it, and it was short-lived. I actually have my old cellmate, Woody, is coming to stay the weekend at my house this weekend. Big salute and shout out to Woody. I'm going to do his story. Y'all going to see him on camera. It's great to have Woody back in society. 10 years has been since I've seen Woody Wood, but Woody went off and was part of the dog program as well. I'll let you ask him a little bit about it. They give this one dude in particular a dog. Now, I don't get to make up the races. I don't get to choose who does what. Guys of all different races do whatever it is they do when it comes to these stories. But there was a Dominican dude up in Greensville that ends up with a dog. A heavy set fat dude. And I'm trying to think of, if you've ever seen, trying to think of who he looks like. If you've ever seen Carlito's Way,
They shotgun you, man, just to see you fly up in the air, man.
that guy, this is who the Dominican dude would remind me of, right? I'd seen him in passing. Originally, he was in the building next door to me. I'd see him on the yard. I'd see him out there playing soccer, and he had his squad of dudes he kicked it with. He wasn't gang affiliated. He seemed like the perfect match. Pretty outgoing, nice, always smiling type dude. Let them smiles deceive you now. This dude gets a dog. At times, I felt, I guess you could say, a little jealous that people had them dogs. Like, God, man, I should have signed up. Oh, why didn't I? This guy has his dog for a while. 6-7 months he's got this dog. Yellow, like one of those yellow looking labs that's fatter than it should be. Like big wide body tableback dog that like you could set an ashtray on his back. The dog is definitely overfed. Probably not the healthiest dog in the world just because they fed and they gave you dog food and that's what you're supposed to feed the dog, but the dog becomes your friend. So when that cell door shuts, man, feed the dog 3 honey buns. I gave him 2 packs of cookies. Dude, feed the animals things they weren't supposed to have. Nobody ever suspected anything when it comes to the situation. Nobody ever heard anything. Nothing ever happened to raise an eyebrow to alert any of us or the administration that anything was going wrong. And then the dog gets sick. He's walking the dog, and you could tell the dog is sick. The dog is moving slow. The dog walking. The dog is falling behind. The dog looks like it's not doing real well. Like the dog just literally looks like it needs to go to the vet. Like it's about to go lay down in the pasture and never get up again. Well, these dog handler people, the people that train them to train the dogs, would come in and they would all sit in a big circle. And they would sit with the dogs and they would say, to teach the dog to do this, you're going to want to raise your hand. They wanted every dog to act according to their procedure. This dog isn't responding correctly. The handler, the people that work on the outside that come into the prison that deal with the dogs, they pick up on something's wrong with your dog. The dog's good. He gets like this sometimes. No, there's something wrong with the dog. The dog needs to go to the vet. No, the dog is okay. The dog is da-da-da-da. Now, you remember, I had close friends that are in this program. I know all of this to be 100% true. No, the dog is okay. The dog is okay. Don't worry about the dog. Big old husky dog. No, we've got to take the dog to the outside vet. The dog is sick. So they take the man's dog. He goes on back in the cell. They clip it to the leash, and they walk him out. The dog walks out slowly. They will return the following day, pack that man's stuff up, put him in handcuffs, and lead him up out of there. Why'd they just lock old boy up? Don't know, but we're going to find out. Inmate.com is when it comes to things getting back to us. There ain't nothing you're going to do that we ain't going to find about. The streets is talking, the prison talks. Anything you do will absolutely be discovered. He gets back in the hole, and the guards go back there, and they're reading him his charges. And like I said, there's always somebody listening. Not only is he caught institutional charges, he's caught in street charges. Animal cruelty. There's another charge that comes along with animal cruelty when you take it past just hurting an animal. The dog was sick for a reason. The dog had an infection. Guess how this dog got an infection? This man had been... This is crazy, man. The man had been messing with the dog. The man had been... The man had been doing things with the dog he shouldn't have been doing. And in doing them, the animal was injured because of what he did, if you can follow me. Because of what he was doing, the dog ended up injured. And because of what he was doing, the dog ended up getting an infection. Below the tail, there's a spot. That spot got injured, and a spot got infected. That infection spread throughout the dog's blood system, throughout the dog's body, and it almost killed the dog. They would take him to the vet, and they would realize this has been tampered with. This has been more than tampered with. This has been, oh my God. Oh my God. This is a male dog, not a female dog. If you were thinking it was a girl dog, it's crazy either way. This is a male dog. This man did this to. The dog would go on to, I guess, recover. They did not bring the dog back into prison. The dog was not given to another inmate. This man would be charged, shipped off somewhere. He's in the system somewhere right now. He caught a new charge. Big catches the weirdo status, the name that will follow him around. And chances are he's living in the hole. He's refusing to come out the hole, because I can promise you that after doing that to an animal, if he ever is released from confinement, and guys know about what he did, he's going to have a whole lot more to worry about than just going to the hole. It's crazy. That is my stomach hurts now from even talking about that. That's a deranged, sick, twisted, demented individual that could do that to an animal. Much less anything that doesn't want that to happen. But to do that to an animal, that's not the animal. That dog was more human than that man was. He was the real animal. I'm just going to close, man. I don't even feel well after saying or speaking on this. But anyways, these jails, these prisons, these institutions, these podcasts, they're all just crazier worlds than the already crazy world we live in. And as always, y'all know what I'm doing. Just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? And like always, this is Jay Williams. Let's live life. And to all my real ones, and there are some real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. And y'all know how we do. Salute.